Hello. So I have a bit of a different filming setup today, and I will going forward. Reorganized my office a bit so that it is more catified, as Jackson Galaxy would say. And if you don't know who Jackson Galaxy is and you have a cat, I highly recommend checking out his channel because it's been life-changing. But now this feels like very formal and I kind of love it. I feel like I've called you to a meeting or something, so we should probably get down to business. Hi, my name is Sarah Freshly and welcome back to Freshly Read Books. So today we are going to be talking about the winner of the National Book Award 2022. And that is, of course, The Rabbit Hutch by Tess Gunty. I actually haven't seen very many reviews of this online, which is crazy because not only has it won this award, but it also won a Waterstones Award that I hadn't heard of, admittedly, until reading about this book. But nevertheless, we are here to review it. Now, in the past, I haven't really followed the National Book Award too closely. I've definitely read books that have popped up on the list, but I haven't been like actively watching to see what would win. This year, I did initially want to read all of the shortlists, but I really overcommitted myself. So all I read was The Rabbit Hutch, which I only did after it won, to be fair. And then I also read The Birdcatcher, which was great. And I started The Haunting of Haji Hotak, but I haven't finished it, and it's due at the library like now. So I don't think I'm gonna finish it, but I did get a few stories in and enough to say that I was enjoying it. So to me, it seems like they had a great shortlist out of the 2.5 books that I read from it. Real great stuff, guys. Good job. Keep up the good work. So I was kind of on the fence about whether or not I was going to do a review video on any of the books anyways, but when The Rabbit Hutch won, and it was one of the 2 books from the entire long list that I had actually purchased because I liked the sound of it so much, and I hadn't read it yet, I was like, well, I might as well read it. And now that I have, I've got some stuff to say about it. And I haven't seen reviews on it outside of Instagram, so I want to talk about it. However, there are great interviews with the author on YouTube that I would highly recommend, particularly from The Bar and the Bookcase, which I'm going to link in the description. That was an absolutely wonderful interview, and really just that channel in general. You should be following it. So The Rabbit Hutch follows a large group of people, and they're all connected through this apartment building that is referred to as the Rabbit Hutch. It's actually like a French word, but the definition is the Rabbit Hutch in English. So that's what they kind of call it. What are you doing? Just a quick kitten check. He's gotten a lot bigger. He's 5 pounds now. No, immediately goes after my microphone. So we're getting these stories that are about people that live in the Rabbit Hutch from their perspective, but also sometimes that are people that are just connected to people that live in the Rabbit Hutch. So that's the synopsis, which kind of brings me into like the first theme that I wanted to talk about in this book, which is just the interconnectedness in general. Like the way that these characters are written, that their stories are written, and that they all kind of revolve around each other, whereas in the beginning they feel more separate, and it's hard to see where those connections are. And there's even like one story that as you're reading it, you're like, I don't even know how this person relates to what we have going on like in the Rabbit Hutch or with the people that live in the Rabbit Hutch. And then later, like as you read, you discover where that connection is. And as the book goes on, like all of the stories start coming together more, and you start understanding more. And even the way that each of the stories are told are like done in different ways and for different purposes. Like the character is telling their story for a different purpose. It comes together so beautifully in the book. It's really impressive. I can't even imagine like the brain capacity that it would take to kind of keep these stories so good like on their own, but also to work so well with the larger picture and to come together in a way that doesn't feel like gimmicky, or I don't know, I feel like a lot of times with these styles of books, when it comes together, it's not all that satisfying and it doesn't feel realistic. But this book, while satisfying, I don't think is quite the term for it, because this is a very like real world, and there are definite struggles that the people that are in this book are dealing with, and it can be tough to read at times. So satisfying feels like a weird word to use, but the way that it comes together just works so well, and it is so beautifully written, and it still feels realistic. So super kudos for being able to do that. I think that this is a fantastic book to read like for that purpose alone, just the structure of the story and the individual stories that come together. Hello. And then the see you later. And then the other theme that I wanted to discuss in this video, which I think also kind of plays into what I was talking about with the interconnectivity of it, but it's all of these like small things resulting in something larger. So each of the characters kind of have something going on in their own lives where they're just small individually, but then as you build them up over the story, you can see how this is something that has impacted their life as a whole, or that has made them into a specific type of person, whether it's something that they are doing, like small things that they are doing individually, or that are being done to them or around them. Like, you see these slow influences that build up to something greater, that is, and not even just like in the characters' lives, but in like society as a whole, in the town that they live in. This is one of those books where the town feels like a character. It's a fictional town in Indiana, but it feels realistic and it feels like it is an active participant in the story. And so just like in the book as a whole, you have these smaller stories from each of the characters that builds up into something greater, you also within each of those characters have small pieces of something that build into something larger. There's a conversation that happens early on through two of our characters while they're doing laundry. It's about religion, and they both have a relationship with religion, but one of them has dug into these like very niche stories about religion, specifically like the wives of Jesus. It's these women that feel as though they have been like proposed to and are now like in a marriage with Jesus. It might be God, I can't remember now. And what kind of happens to their lives as a result of that. And this character like has dug into, like through the internet, through research that she's done, has dug into each of these stories, and they make up this like larger view that she kind of has that contributes to what she thinks of religion. This story just feels like you can just dive down into like these very small pieces, but then when they're all put together, it's just something so much grander. It's really fantastic. So yeah, overall, I think The Rabbit Hutch is a really fantastic book, so well put together. I will definitely be looking for more from Tess Cunty in the future, because I think she just did like a really great job with this book. And while I have talked completely positively about it in this video, I do think that there are some parts where it slows down a bit, where it doesn't have like those punches that it carries throughout the rest of the book. It is also a very gut-wrenching book. Some of the subjects that it touches on are very difficult to read, and it is told in a way that feels very realistic and like straightforward, and that it can be tough. It can be tough to read those. But yeah, overall, I think that if you're considering picking up The Rabbit Hutch and you haven't yet, I would highly recommend it. I think it's a wonderful read and definitely deserving of the awards that it's been winning. But also, if you're thinking about reading other books from the National Book Award, I'd also recommend The Birdcatcher, because it was so good. I'm sure I'll talk about it more at some point, but just to slip that in here while we're talking about the National Book Award. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you did enjoy it. And if you did, please do consider subscribing. Also, when this video goes up, I will be about to be on my way to North Carolina. So if you want to follow me on Instagram to see the fun adventures there, it's just family time, but I think it's fun. If you want to see a lot of pictures of mountain views and bananagrams, then consider following me on Instagram, because that's what the couple days following when this video goes up is going to consist of. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. I post new videos every Wednesday, so I will see you then. Bye.